So the interview everyone's talking about is the no-clip documentary or no-clip making of Fallout 76. It wasn't really an interview, but there was a lot of interviews in it, and yeah, I don't know, we got a lot of new details about Fallout 76 and its gameplay. I made a full video on it. You can click in the little I right now if you actually want to check out that video. But alternatively, something that's going a little bit more under the radar is we actually got an IGN interview. They clickbaited pretty hard in this video, but we got an interview from IGN with Todd Howard, and he gave out some information that I haven't seen posted anywhere else yet. Like, other people have covered it, but only from this IGN interview. That is the primary source for some of this. So I'm just going to go through it right now. I took some notes on the interview, everything or all the major takeaways we had from it, and let's do it. So one of the major takeaways from this interview, IGN did not do their research or background. A lot of the questions in it were like repeat questions, things we already had answers to from other interviews. So I honestly wouldn't personally watch it. It's only 14 minutes, so I guess you can, but I'm more or less giving you all the interesting stuff. So firstly, they talked about quests, and they had the question as to, how are quests going to work. They came to the revelation that there are no humans in there because IGN didn't know that, despite it already being said. And more or less, Todd Howard said that first and foremost, one thing is there's going to be player stores in the game. They don't touch on this any deeper than they have in the no-clip one. They also said it in the no-clip one, but seemingly you will be able to set up a little store. They said you can go up and you'll see, oh, ammo for sale, and now you'll know that's going to be a player selling you ammo. In addition, for the questing, it seems like the robots are going to be heavily used. So a lot of the roles that were typically occupied by humans, so like the person giving you the quest, the person doing the quest checkpoint, will now be inhabited by robots instead. On the topic of friendly fire, they said that's still something they're dialing in at Bethesda, so maybe there'll be friendly fire, maybe there won't be, depending on how griefy it is. So they also talked about Mothman. So Mothman is this creature in West Virginian lore. They mention in this thing that a lot of the creatures you're going to see are from West Virginian lore. In addition, all of the creatures from Fallout 4 will be in this game. They actually said all the enemies from Fallout, but I assume he meant Fallout 4. Like, I can't imagine we're going to see all of the enemies from every Fallout, just the ones from Fallout 4, but either way, Mothman is going to be one of those enemies, and they kind of expanded on this. They said Mothman's going to be very unique, and when playing against him, it's going to feel like a special enemy. He's going to stand out from the pack. His behavior and his patterns are very different. So that got me excited. I think that's really cool. I like how they're taking advantage of some of this West Virginian lore. I think it'll make the world feel a bit more lively and hopefully give some kind of story or semblance of a story in the background. So you do start out in the vault, and the vault itself is going to be the character creator. You're going to build your character there, kind of like what you did in Fallout 4, except in Fallout 4, it was your house, and then you went to the vault. But largely, the game's going to start with you exiting the vault. There's not really many in-vault components or any in-vault components. So the way you're going to connect with people online is there's going to be a server matchmaking. So I imagine when you click play game, it'll connect you to a random server. Another game that does this is GTA Online. When you want to play online, you are just dropped into one random server, or alternatively, you can actually join your friend's server. I imagine this will have a similar kind of thing going on. And the question then arose, are you going to see other players in the vault if you're just starting out? And the answer to that is yes. If other players are also just starting out, you'll see them in the vault right next to you, starting out the quest and doing the typical progression. And something they kept trying to reemphasize through this was the game's not crowded. We know from another interview that it's going to be 24 to 32 players, and the map is 4 times the size of Fallout 4's. And Fallout 4 had a fairly large map. Like, to walk edge to edge would probably be, a half hour in-game time? It would take a while. The game's implementing new rendering features. I assume this is for the textures. They didn't expand on it. They just kind of dropped it. As well as the way the landscape is loaded is overhauled, because now you have so many players concurrently loading the landscape. They also kind of said that a lot of this technology is going to be used for future games. And even with the much larger map, they did confirm that no vehicles are going to appear in this game. So then they actually talked a lot about the nuke codes. So one of the things they said about the nuke codes is after you unlock them, and it's meant to be an end game thing, so after you get high level and you get all the things, you can unlock the nuke codes through a bunch of steps. And after you do that, it's going to be like a cyclical cycle. You can continue to get the new codes, but each time it's going to be different. You're going to have a different kind of whatever these steps are, whatever the codes you need are. And one thing they said that I found pretty interesting when actually using the nuke, one, if you nuke a certain area, it'll have a unique effect on that area. We knew that. But in addition, he talked about you can nuke rival gangs. This is something I was quite curious about, whether or not there will actually be like kind of almost like mini factions. Like you can align with Red Team team. They could align with blue team. I think that'd be a pretty interesting kind of mechanic, and maybe you can still go against other groups of people from the same team if you get in a little tussle, but just having specific players on the map that you know, alright, they're probably going to shoot as soon as I see them because we don't like those people. But the way they worded this rival, it seemed like a mechanic, not just someone you don't like an actual group of players that are labeled as your rivals. And when you actually nuke an area, it's going to create a high level zone because of all the radiation there will mutate all of the creatures. Still being on this kind of griefing subject, or how they don't want players to grief, they actually said that you can damage other people's homes, but you can't destroy them completely. So let's say I'm out questing and somebody finds my home, they could shoot at it, maybe throw a bunch of grenades at it or something, and it'll be damaged, and there'll be a cost associated with it to fix it for me, but they made it seem like it's very minor. There's not going to be a huge cost, they're not going to destroy it completely, and it'll be super easy for me to get it back up to fully functional. I don't really know how I feel about that. I kind of liked the idea of having some consequence, or at least a bit more consequence than hitting E on a building so it's fully repaired. And they said the private servers, or the private worlds as they describe them, is going to be a service. So that makes me think there might be a cost associated with it somewhere. And that was pretty much everything. It was definitely an interesting interview again. I was kind of disappointed that the interviewer didn't do his research. A lot of the time was committed to, oh, are there going to be mods? How are mods going to work? So they resaid all of the stuff we've seen in past interviews. I understand it's par for the course, but I was just hoping for a little bit more. There's only about 4 minutes of actual new content, or things that haven't been explained before. Either way, it's going to pretty much wrap it up. If you guys enjoy, you can subscribe, you can like, you can comment. I still am at E3. I guess I'll switch to, I have to record this whole thing on my camera microphone. Yeah, see, this is how I have to record this all, because I didn't bring a regular USB mic, so I just recorded my camera. So this whole video, I was basically sitting here vlog style, but I'm not going to use any of the footage. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time in the next video, probably a few hours from now.